And as we're laying here, you need to shift around at all to become comfortable. That's fine. Get your body set up in a good spot. And if you've been to my classes before, you know I like to start off with a little intention, oftentimes a visual aid to help us out through the class. So what we're going to imagine today is that in front of us or above us, we've got a big sky, and our internal state affects how the sky is. So notice perhaps you've got a lot of thoughts going on right now. It's like, I've got to be here. I've got to do this. I've got to, add that to my to-do list. And there's so many different things that are cluttering our mind. So if that's the case, imagine you've got a bunch of clouds in the sky, just kind of constantly appearing and moving around, shuffling around. And that's in contrast with a clear sky where just maybe one cloud comes up and it floats around, and then the next one, lots of time in between. And especially in our Yogilates class where we're working on strength, it's a class where a lot of times the harder the class gets, the more our mind will start to be like, man, this is hard. I need to, keep on breathing. Why am I so weak? And, it starts popping up with so many different thoughts. So our goal is, especially as things get harder, try to let your mind at least be at peace. Your mind is calm, good thoughts flowing in and out, rather than having a weather like a storm or a dreary day. Imagine it's like we can have clear skies whenever we want. And so with that image, the first thing I want us to start off with is establishing a good, steady breath. And so this breath is called Ujjayi breath. This is a breath that's really helpful because it gives our mind something to focus on. So rather than thinking of all the thoughts that pop up, it gives us a focus point. So this breath is a light constriction of the throat in and out. It's almost like a Darth Vader breath or like the ocean wave sound. And a little trick to get into it if you ever have issues trying to find that constricted throat sound is if you make the sound and then you close your jaw halfway through, you'll notice exactly that light constriction of the throat already happened. So if you need to find that for a moment, take a little and then close. And then from there, the trick is to try to keep that light constriction as you inhale also. So as we're taking just a couple of good deep breaths here, notice how that Ujjayi breath is very calming for the mind. Like it wipes the slate clear for our weather, making it just naturally clear and sunny on its own. So let's take maybe 2 more of those rounds of breath. Today, whenever we get into any of the stretching parts, we'll try to remember to go back to this Ujjayi breath to help, no matter what kind of craziness we do, to help us get back to that calm. And so here, let's allow our body to start off some of the physical stuff. We'll start to take the knees into the chest. When the knees are in, start to let hips and shoulders just going to take easy circles. This is a chance for us to tune in almost diagnostically with how the back is, how the hips are. It helps us to be able to take care of our body the very best possible. And so from here, the first thing that we'll do is release the left leg all the way long to the ground. Let's allow right leg to go straight up to sky. We're starting off with a nice stretch for the hamstring. So at first, maybe we feel some tightness in our foot and we want to do some nice little circles, just helping with any tightness that's there. Then just to help the hamstring out, what we're going to do 5 times is let this right knee bend. When we re-straighten the leg up to the sky, we're trying to go with a stretch a bit deeper than it was a moment ago. So then bending number 4, try to make it even deeper. Maybe you're pulling it in each time. Bending for 3, and up. Bending 2. And last one. When it's re-straight, as deep as we can get it, hold a few bonus breaths. Sometimes back tightness comes from tightness in other areas, like these hamstrings. They're so strong, they could pull those back muscles toward a less comfortable position. So let's pause, maybe one more Ujjayi breath in and out. Good. This first one, just an easy release, right leg down to the ground. Feel how different right side is from left. And let's begin to work on that same flexibility for left. So leg up to sky. Maybe there's a couple of ankle rolls if that feels nice. Working its way straighter and straighter. And let's take those 5 pulses, letting the knee bend. When it's straight, try to get it a bit deeper than it was. Bending for 4. Taking 3. And 2. Last 1. Hold it just a bit longer in this deepest spot. Beautiful. So what we do from here, let this right leg hover above the ground. When right leg rises, our hands can go to that side, left leg lowers. And what we're doing at first, at least, is helping any leg that's in the upward position, we're pulling that into a nice hamstring stretch. So a little bit slower than normal at first. Hamstring stretch. And switch. It's nice and easy back and forth. Getting our core a little bit more warmed up, getting our legs more warmed up. Maybe we go a little bit faster by this point. Bring a nice exhale each cycle. Let's take another 10, 9. Always okay if your pace is slightly different than me. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's plant both feet close to the glutes, hands on the floor by the hips. We're taking bridge pose. Inhale, roll up, 1 vertebrae at a time. Exhale, start to roll all the way back down. Feel how this involves very different muscle groups than what we were doing just a moment ago. This is one that can be done with the Ujjayi, light constriction as we roll up, inhale. Rolling down, exhale. Next time the hips are as high as possible, let them stay up. Sometimes people can clasp hands under their back, so you can try for that if you want. Maybe walk the shoulders under and get the hips to lift higher, knees are slightly squeezing in. So from here, let's lift up our heels, rising up 10 and down. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Lift the hips higher again if they settle down at all. Take one more inhale. Exhale, release the hands. Roll the hips all the way to the earth. Once we're resting down, let's take a little pause for a hip stretch. We're taking our right thigh, crossing it super tightly over left thigh. Once we're there, take the thighs into the chest. Sometimes people can only reach for knees, so that's okay. I personally like to grab all the way down to the ankles and then let my head rest down. So from here, at this moment, just notice, how are my skies? Kind of in that metaphor, how are all the other aspects of how we are right now? Like, how's the temperature? It's not anything physical, but internally we feel different emotionally when we're cold versus hot. And so notice, what are we closer to in that range of emotions? Is it more sunny or more dim? And how many clouds are there going across our sky? Leaving the legs tightly crossed like this, start to release our hands, and then let the legs begin to tilt into a nice twist. So legs will go to left, arms can spread open left and right. And know that you can play with the angle to find exactly the right stretch. So a higher angle of the knees is a little bit more in the hip and IT band. Dropping a little bit closer to the ground makes the stretch move its way up the spine a bit deeper. Let's take another good inhale. With our exhale, return hips to the ground, legs straight up to the sky, and then let the legs spread out wide. Hands are welcome to rest on inner thighs. Before we switch sides, as we release hands back to floor, let's use our exhale to squeeze the legs together. Imagine we have a resistance band that we're trying to work against. And then inhale, spread out wide. Exhale, 4. Wide. 3. 2. And 1. Beautiful. Starting to let the right knee bend. Take down the left leg in that tight crossover. Thighs into the chest. Grab onto ankles if you can reach, otherwise thighs is fine. This one, the goal is to get into hips. So if you don't feel that hip stretch, try to pull the hands in just a bit deeper. Into the twist, the arms start to spread open, the legs fall to the right this time. And you play with how deep it wants to go. Feeling just the right sensations. Higher knees is more hip, lower knees is more into the spine. You lost the Ujjayi breath, try to return to it for this moment. Let's go back to the ground. Let's straighten legs up to sky. We'll take another 5 cycles. A nice inhale, go wide. Exhale, squeeze, resisting it. Create your own resistance, like we're moving through molasses. 4. 3. 2. 1. Good, letting the legs rest open, hands can come to the inner thighs. Pausing here for just a moment longer. As legs come back together, we'll drop our hands on the floor by the hips. I kind of recommend tucking the thumbs under the hips. That helps the low back stay very secure on the ground so we're not injuring the low back. Legs as straight as possible. This motion goes like this. We inhale, lowering the legs partway down. Exhale, raising it back up. This first time is to help us figure out how low we can go without lifting and arching the low back. The moment you arch, that's the moment you start to risk that injury of the low back. So instead, we're activating the strength. A powerful exhale brings us back up. You can always take breaks if needed. You're doing okay. Let's take another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Allowing this right knee to bend. Take the hands around the right knee. Left leg takes a moment to drop long to the ground. So with hands around right knee, try to continue to pull the right knee closer and closer to the right shoulder. Try to keep the left leg solid on the ground. It makes it so the knee doesn't just loop up to allow you to go deeper. Instead, we've got the skeleton kind of setting up a good base. Beautiful. Take the left knee in, hand switch to that side. Right leg becomes that solid grounded space. Left knee continues to get deeper and deeper in. And that good activation. Just notice, imagine it's like we're laying on grass, looking up at our sky. How is our weather right now? Good, and here we're gonna start including obliques. So leave this left knee in, hand switch to clasp behind the back of the head. We've lifted the head up, twist your right elbow to that left knee, right leg hovers, and switch it out. So anytime we're twisting opposite elbow to opposite knee. Always know the higher the leg is, the easier it is, the lower, the harder. You're doing okay. Here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome work. Head back to the ground. Let's bring the feet about as wide as the mat. And then let's take a few windshield wipers. Knees gradually work their way, tilting to the left. When knees come up, they tilt over to the right. Just notice the difference between the internal rotation and the external rotation of the legs. Good. Taking the knees back upright next time they're there. Heel toe, the legs to touch, inner thighs are squeezing together. And from this spot, let your right leg kick out straight. So knees are helping to squeeze together, that helps us out. The legs now stay in this shape as the arms reach up overhead. Take your inhale, flapping like a wing through the side. Exhale, trying to rise up as high as possible. And then inhale back down. It's okay if it's more like a crunch, just kind of lifting up as much as you can. Good. Knees stay squeezing together. Here's 8, 7, 6, beautiful, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Before second side, take right ankle to left thigh. You can either keep the foot planted and just help that knee rotate open, or you can hug around the left side if that feels better. Feel the heart calming down. Perhaps trying to connect back to that Ujjayi breath. Amazing effort. Let's try it for the second side. Feet plant. Inner thighs are squeezing together, knees are glued together. Let that left leg out. Take your inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, flap and rise as much as your back can lift off the ground. And 9, 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Left ankle to right thigh. Give it a hug if this leg is okay with it. Nice inhale. Exhale, start to release. Knees are glued together. Try to set up the feet in a 90-degree angle. If you need to make this next move easier, dropping slightly lower than 90 degrees will be what you can do to make it easier. Arms, you can either stay at your sides or open to each side. Open is harder. And what we're going to do is let the toes, so knees are they're stuck, they're screwed, they cannot go change from their angle. So from that angle, the toes try to touch the ground and back up. I love this one because it includes those low obliques. Low rectus abdominis, that spot. Very low. I like to do the inhale and then exhale to bring it back. You're still doing okay. Let's take another 5. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Leaving legs glued together, adding obliques. Now arms do spread left and right. Tilt the knees part way to one side. Exhale brings you right back through the middle through the contraction. Inhale, pull those muscles long. Exhale, engage to return. Inhale, exhale. We're doing okay. 3 more each. Two. 1. Beautiful. Send the legs long. Reach arms up overhead. We're either going to do as much of a crunch as we can rising up, or we're going to do a full roll up. So use your exhale to try to rise up to see how you can do. If you can stretch all the way over the toes, great. And then start to roll all the way back to the floor. See if you can make it a long, slow breath, very long inhale, exhale to come up. And inhale to lower. Maybe 4 more. Here's 3. And 2. This last one will stay in that stretch. Sitting up tall. Working on some of our back muscles, we start off with our arms in front of us. We engage our core to roll back as far as we can with control. When we sit back up, lift the arms up tall. Pull that one in the shoulders. Good. Exhale and inhale. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Try to get your sitting bones underneath you. Removing flesh if you need to. If knees need to be bent to stay up tall, that's fine, but engage height for another moment longer. Fingers float off to each side if you don't need the support. If you do need the support, hand on the ground. And then from nice tall posture, let the right ear start to drop to right shoulder. Because the left hand is reaching up to the left, you should feel that shoulder and neck stretch. Good. Head starts to rise and tilt over to the left. Good. When you rise, plant the right hand. Try your very best to not lift hips at all, but left hand will start to work its way up and over as far as it can without hips. Huge side body stretch. Good. Raising up. Second side, don't lift hips. Beautiful. Coming up, bring the knees into boat pose. So from here, arms up to sky. Exhale, touch hands down to one side. Inhale up. Switching sides each time. Yep, feet down would be easier. Here's 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, and 1. Good. Plant the feet and plant the hands behind you. Lifting up the hips. We're going to let our elbows bend and straight. Tricep dips. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome effort. Set the glutes down. Take it open into cobbler. If you're wanting to work on stretching the spine here, my recommendation is feet more forward so that when you relax down and head is weighed heavy down, that weight of the head can kind of pull all the muscles of the back, even down to the low back, into that nice stretch. Head heavy. Maybe taking right ear to right shoulder for a time. And rolling through the center. Left ear to left shoulder. And then center. And the hands on the floor. Start to walk the hands over to the right. Again, don't lift the sitting bones off the floor. So by walking hands off to the right, you should be feeling the left low back muscles, that left half, getting an extra long stretch. Good. Walking back through the center, off to the second side. Good. Inhale. Exhale, work back through the center. As we pause just a moment longer, notice how your weather is doing internally now. Good. Walk our hands in to support the spine lifting up. Legs open out wide. We're at a spot where the toes can still stay engaged pointing up. So from that spot, and bent knees if you need the help staying up tall. Arms float off to left and right. This is our inhale through the center. Exhale, twist toward one leg. So if I'm twisting to my right, I'm taking my left pinky finger and trying to touch it toward left pinky toe. And sawing it off. All right, inhale up tall through center. Exhale, switch sides. Five. Four. 3, 2, 1, and 1. Beautiful. Still trying to keep the feet in that same spot. Find that floor in front of you and just start to ease your way forward. Nice into Ujjayi breath if that's possible here. Smooth inhales. Equal exhales. Eventually working our way back up. We're heading toward our last little bit, so we've got a few more of the strengthening things, and then we'll wrap up with some good stretches all over. So let's start to take our legs around underneath us. And from this spot, what we're going to do, either from up on wrists or down on elbows, is hold in a plank. So just a nice little strong plank. The goal is obviously, first things first, don't collapse down. So it's better to be a straight line. If you need it to be slightly higher than a straight line, that's better than lower. So if you can lift knees, that's great. If you want to go to elbows, that's great. Try to set up your good strong line or slightly higher. We're going to do a slow count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, lower to knees for a moment. Take a super exaggerated cow, heart down, head up. Slow cat. When we go back to cow, let the right ear start to drop to right shoulder. When you roll chin to chest, take the cat. Left ear to left shoulder, cow. And stay in the cow, chin up. Good, one circle to the reverse, left ear to left shoulder. Roll your spine up. Switching over to cow again, right ear to right shoulder. And throat stretching. Good, back to a nice neutral spine. One more plank think, this one is Spider-Man. So we're taking our plank shape, and then right knee tries to come to right shoulder, left knee to left shoulder. So here's 9, 8, and paces is do whatever you can, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Either full plank or lower to knees to take chaturanga, going to belly, all the way belly to floor. Good. So we're almost here. What we're going to do is take our arms by our sides, thumbs trying to rotate out. So from here, start taking a locust pose. So shoulders and upper body lifts, maybe legs lift too. Exhale, lower. Repeating this spot, 4, 3, 2, 1. Increasing difficulty just a hair. Arms out to airplane arms. So from here, inhale, try to float up. Exhale down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Last thing, hardest yet. Gonna take arms up by the ears. Wider will be easier if narrow is too much. So prepare. With your inhale, you're going to lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Good effort. So let's take Sphinx, elbows under shoulders. Hands are in front of us, lots of friction on the ground. As we try to drag the hands toward us, toward our body, instead our heart gets pulled forward and through so that our abdomen is in a good stretch. Good, let's take a quad stretch. Our right hand swivels in to prop up our upper body. Left hand grabs left toes. Pull in it until you feel the quad. If you can face forward, sometimes I can feel my shoulder stretch too. I'm rotating there. Good. Yep, we're in that spot. We can start to slow and cool. Let's switch our legs out. Pulling in the right foot. Beautiful inhale. Exhale, release. We'll shift back into child's pose. You can choose if the knees are a bit wider or a bit more narrow. But the arms have a nice stretch forward. As forehead is resting on the ground, maybe even rocking slightly left and right. Imagine it's like we're massaging that third eye chakra area, making it much more possible to maintain the weather we wish to maintain. So from here, let's take a shoulder stretch. Leave this left arm forward. The right arm will thread under that armpit space. Rock to the side of the head and let that right shoulder just ease its way down. We'll start to switch it out. So right arm forward, and then thread the left under and through. Rising back up. Let's walk our hands in. We're going to try to set our hips to the left side of our feet. Right hand will grab onto right ankle. Left hand tries to reach up to the sky and lean over. Good stretch for the ribs, for the shoulder, especially let the head just drop to that right shoulder. Now leave the head over right shoulder as this left arm starts to work its way back to hover above the floor. The further down it gets, the more you'll start to feel the shoulder and the neck getting pulled into that nice stretch. Good. Head up, torso up. Start to shift your hips to the other side. Left hand grabs left, right hand reaches up. Start to lean over. Make sure that ear is dropping to left shoulder. And as the right hand slowly takes its journey to return, that'll begin to pull the right shoulder and the right half of the neck into the stretch. Good. Head up, torso up. Let's shift back up onto knees. Stepping our right foot forward. Allow hips to sink forward. You choose the exact spot. Maybe hands are on the floor. Some people might walk hands up to the side. It's just that spot where we're stretching the front of left hip. So as area that lifted our legs over and over. Do 2 more breaths here. And eventually we'll shift our hips over the back knee, front leg straightens. The big goal is to only lower to the point where the knee doesn't have to bend. So if that means we're higher, that's great. If that means hands are planted and heart's dropping down, that's also great. It depends on your body. You want it straight, yeah. Yeah, beautiful. Good, we'll start to shift this leg back. If it needs a recovery moment, shaking or anything, that's great. And whenever you're ready for left foot to step forward, take it there, hips sinking forward. Choose your variation here, a couple of good breaths. Beautiful. Front leg straightening. minutes, or if you want to go deeper, that's beautiful. Perhaps that Ujjayi breath, one more round. As we head out of this shape, I want you to listen to your body. If there's any last stretches your body needs before it feels complete, take another minute or so to do any other things. These could be seated, these could be kneeling, these could be laying on our back, any options at all. Just explore until eventually you feel ready for Shavasana. As your body's getting more and more ready for Shavasana, choose the breath that will help guide you toward deep relaxation. Maybe it's that Ujjayi for a few rounds. Or maybe by this point, your body's ready to just drop into its natural, slow rhythm. We've got a few minutes here just to let the body relax. So find that breath that's going to work for you. Begin the slow process of returning, starting off with just a couple of good deep breaths. Introducing little movements back to fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Stretching it out like we're waking up first thing in the morning. Taking a fetal position if that feels good. Enjoying maybe 3 or 4 good deep breaths until you feel ready to rise, sooner or later. With hands in front of our heart, take a moment to notice how our weather is internally right now. How are our skies? When we look back on the journey this sky has had over the last hour, perhaps there were moments where it really became flustered and just tons of clouds, lots of darkness. Maybe there were other moments of clarity, blue skies, beautiful clouds. So here we realize we have some control over how our weather is internally. And the more we learn to focus our mind, the more control we do have of it. So we can choose to return to these beautiful blue, open, clear skies whenever we wish. And so with this idea to help lead us on today, let's wrap up the time we shared together with the sound of Om. Taking a deep inhale now. May we be filled with light, and happiness, and peace. Namaste.